All right. Alrighty.
You're good. I just
Hey,
I had to finagle. It's like a technical term. I think it's from the Irish scientist, Dr. Professor Finagle.
Oh, Captain Finagle, yes.
Yeah, he was,
I know him, yes.
That was his brother. Like,
Professor Captain.
just like you had, Aldous Huxley and Robert Huxley.
Right.
They were like science
Constantly
associates.
getting those two confused, yeah.
Confused, that's what we're talking about. Science is
Science.
confusing. Everything is confusing. I've noticed that, mask mandates, they say they're confusing. And I find things are not as confusing as people say.
Hey, just wear a mask.
That's
or don't,
confusing.
or
That's
something.
Hey, don't try to confuse
No.
the listeners. Well, good morning, Robert Strong,
Good
the
morning.
unconfused, the
The unconfused. And good morning, Captain Richard J. Pollock.
Wait a minute.
Hey, or is that Professor Captain?
I was a rear admiral. Wait a minute.
I am not going there.
I was just thinking I could picture a song in the Navy with a rear admiral. I don't want to go there either.
Yeah, okay. I don't think it's that kind of day.
I want to go to
Radio Science News.
Please.
Okay, let's do that. Hey, you folks are tuning into Radio Science News if you haven't figured that out. This is episode number 786 in a series. Last week we had the 8th anniversary of Mars going around the sun for Radio Science News. It was the 8th birthday on Mars. Back on April 24th, it was the 15th anniversary on the Earth. Today is no anniversary other than it's just going to be an anniversary of goodwill.
I just want you to know that, Robert, as you have referred to all of these sort of, I'm going to say off-planet.
Off-planet.
I think the word might be extraterrestrial
Yes.
references to days and times and seasons. One of our topics today is everybody. The term everybody uses, the UAP.
The UPA? UPA?
Or when you finally get to the launch pad of science,
All right.
you will see it as UAP / UFO because
/ Okay.
that's like new school, old school.
Yeah, new school, old school. So today
right, get 'em
is
to the
May
place.
22nd, 2021, and Richard and I are together again, maskless, only because we have our vaccines, and we've waited the appropriate number of weeks, and so
We're following
it's
the
okay.
guidelines.
We are following the guidelines. Whether we are confused or not, we are doing the correct thing as of today.
What? Oh,
What?
okay.
Us?
That sounds good.
Let me take you to. Just going to say the episode number is 786. Anything that ends in a even number other than 2, only 2 is not a prime number. So the factors are 2 and 3 and 131. If you're following all that good stuff. So we're going to go to the launch pad of science. And to get there, I like going to my favorite webpage on the internet, which is www.smartcenter.org. When you do that, up pops a whole bunch of stuff. Now that we have been decovenated, I think we're probably going to update some summer camp lists. I see summer camp 2019 because we didn't have any summer camps in 2020 because,
That's right. In fact,
that would have been a bad idea.
I even think Libby sent me a thing.
She did, yep. So
Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah, so there will be at least one summer camp in the summer of 2021 coming up here. And I just want to say that is girls enjoying math and science camp. And Libby just handed me a little thing that says Jim's Camp 2021 Place-Based Engineering. Be a tourist in your own town here in Wheeling, West Virginia. Description and details. Who is eligible? Girls entering grades 5 through 8 in school year 2021. When is it held? July 19th and 20th, 2021 from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Where is it held? At the Smart Center Market here, right where Richard and I are sitting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're going to do some walking tours to the Wheeling Suspension Bridge in West Virginia Independence Hall. What does it cost? It turns out that this is free to the first girls that apply. It turns out that this is from a generous grant from the Women's Giving Circle through the Community Foundation of the Ohio Valley. All kinds of really cool stuff here. And if you want some more information, you can give us a call here at the Smart Center. That's 1-304-233-4667, or you can email libby@smartcenter.org.
That's really good, and that's
love to have you.
Again, the date's July 19th.
July 19th and 20th.
So circle that on your calendar.
Circle it.
Or do what I do, take a magic marker and write it on your forearm.
Yeah.
That's what I always... No,
oh, those aren't tattoos?
No, you thought... Okay. So, yeah, that is
I thought
really good news.
you were just cool. Okay.
All right, so when you're on that page, you can get them to the launch pad.
Yep. And then when you're at to get to the launch pad for Radio Science News, just above the little trifecta rainbows there, click on the words Radio Science News.
Well, this is good
my
stuff.
computer is going
going around in circles.
What?
Spinning,
Do you want me to do something? While my computer is its little color wheel is spinning, I want to mention that we had a Star Watch last night at Brook Hills Park.
Nice.
The first one in a whole bunch of months. And we didn't see a whole lot because it was semi-cloudy, but we did see the moon. And we had multiple people that showed up. And we had, the 2 telescopes that I brought, 2 other five. There were 6 scopes looking up at a cloudy night sky. We had a bunch of people there. We had a good time doing just conversations and whatnot. And so I just want to mention that Star Watches are starting up again.
Well, just the fact that
it was loads of fun.
Again, you're switching back to a safe outdoor activity where everybody
safe outdoor activity, lots of fresh air, lots of good stuff. So I'm at the Launchpad of Science now, and May 22nd, 2021, and I see Eclipse. Now, is this the annular solar eclipse that will be visible here as the sun rises?
I think, is this a lunar or is it a solar? Let me think. I was actually looking now. I'm going to call your attention to the fact that up above where I have the Morossi blog, Medical Express Space Station, Space Calendar,
Yep.
I am now leaving Space Calendar up.
Oh, good. Awesome.
Because it's a wonderful little thing. I'm going to click on it just for a second. CNET puts up, this is really cool, Space Calendar China. I found it and it had a list of just like everything that's coming up.
That's wonderful.
We're always thinking, I don't want to miss something. And when I was scrolling down on it, it started talking about the eclipse. Oh, it has a bunch of them. Starship S9 explodes. Oh my God! If you scroll down,
the humanity.
I got all the way down to I was excited about the rover landing on the Mars, and here it is, May 26th, total lunar eclipse of the flower moon. This sounds like a movie from China, doesn't it?
Yeah. So this is a lunar eclipse. It turns out that the eastern coast of the United States is going to be able to witness on sunrise of June 10th.
That's next. Look at that.
Okay. An
Johnny Cash eclipse. What?
Johnny Cash eclipse.
Affectionately known by nobody except myself. Okay, a reference to country music astronomy. I like it.
Somebody's been smoking a little something there.
A ring of fire eclipse occurs when the moon only partially blows out. Leave it down.
There we go.
That's really cool.
Yep.
That's one of the very cool ones.
Yep.
I get it. I went down in a burning ring of fire.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Burn.
Wow, that was a good one.
Yeah, that's a great Johnny Cash, June Carter song.
So, I just want to mention that I will be at Grandview Park on the morning of June 10th of this year, and I'm going to be there before about 5:45 because sunrise is at about 6 o'clock, and then it's over at about 1.5 hours after that. So if you want to see the last vestiges of the annular solar eclipse from Grandview Park, if it's clear, I will be there, and I will have some viewing telescopes with a solar filter.
Oh, wow. So you're looking way ahead. You know what's exciting is you open up a door of things coming up. And okay, let's get back to the Launchpad of Science.
Let's go back.
Okay. We have, you know what I've done this week, Robert? I
You
probably
did
put up
too much.
twice as many.
You don't ever do
stories.
that.
Oh no, I have. I have like twice as many stories. So I'm going to apologize if we seem to like blast through them. Like,
That's okay.
Like people having too much coffee in the morning, but.
Okay.
So just to jump into it, the first one is a really long, very cool thing from the CNET thing about the total lunar eclipse.
Okay.
And it gives you all kinds of interesting background, including the fact that they're calling it the super flower blood moon. Super flower blood moon.
Anything to try to get you to look up.
Yeah. Well, but the nice thing about this page is it has lots of. First of all, it has a nice image of what when they call a blood moon, where the bright, the sort of orange, the end of the spectrum that would make you call it a blood moon. I mean, if you want to be gruesome, I guess. But then they're saying that the lunar eclipse also they were using that kind of the super moon thing because it's somewhat bigger in visually. So it's a super flower blood moon. we ought to create a new name. And it goes on talking about where it gets its nicknames and all that. The super blood wolf moon. Anyway, if you go down through, there's all kinds of stuff, but there are some live links, like time and dates viewing guide, lets you like specifically for your own location, figure things out. But if you go down to the very bottom, there's a little video. I'm going to let you play that quickly.
Okay.
Super flower blood moon total eclipse online.
Total eclipse, May 26th. Okay, so can we see this here?
Yeah, you can. And
Okay.
there's actually
There should be a
my next link
time
on the,
and date.com.
Now it's
viewing guide.
within this article, but
right.
I have broken it out on our second link is for how to see it from Wheeling. So let's watch this video and see if it gives us some great information.
All right, I've got my.
If it doesn't work, we're going to leap right to the next link. I'm that kind of guy this morning.
I'm clicking
It's not
on
going. Well, we'll let people explore this. This link is
my computer's not able to get it.
This
together.
particular link that CNET has put up about the eclipse is really good, and you're going to want to look at it. Now, if you
Okay.
go to the next link on the Launchpad of Science, it's the breakout of Wheeling from time and date eclipse in
Cool.
USA Wheeling. And you know what's really amazing is I didn't even look for that. Like while I was looking at their site,
It said, "Oh, you're from Wheeling."
It
area.
literally came up.
That's interesting.
So what I did was I saved
creepy,
that.
too.
I saved, yeah, it is. I saved that link, and I'm just going to say that wherever you are, because we do broadcast from the wonderful metroplex of Wheeling, West Virginia, we try to set things up for our local friends, but. You will note that at the very upper right-hand corner, you can do any city or place, and it will, you can set this up for yourself. You can customize it.
Okay, so I am
Scroll down, and you will
noticing
see
that it says time 4:47 a.m.
the penumbral.
penumbral eclipse begins, and then 5:44 partial eclipse begins.
So we're going to still see
maximum in Wheeling. It says this is the moment when the eclipse reaches its greatest magnitude when the entire moon is above the horizon in Wheeling. The true maximum point of the eclipse cannot be seen in Wheeling because the moon is below the horizon at that time. Since the moon is near the horizon at this time, we recommend going to a high point or finding an unobstructed area with free sight to the southwest for the best view.
So this is as good as we can get here.
Yeah. But
not bad.
Yeah, this is why I didn't make a really big deal about it here.
This one's not.
Here in Wheeling because I usually, if we get a really good full lunar eclipse or a good partial eclipse that we can see high, I usually have a star party for it.
Now the nice thing is that for other parts of the United States, this is going to be really really good.
Yeah. If you go further west, it gets better and better.
Yeah,
very cool.
So the actual, like the maximum of, as they say, we don't see it here, but the maximum eclipse is really 7:18. It's only like roughly 2 hours. Well, no, it's only an hour and something later. So if you're in the Midwest, I'm thinking Midwest to California, this is going to be really something to see. Anyway, I didn't want to dwell on it too much because my real excitement, Robert, is to get to the UAP. UAPFU.
Hey, speaking of the UFO, I was watching CNN News yesterday.
There's stuff
evening,
happening. There's stuff happening.
and I think it was Chairman Moon from.
yeah.
It's
Thank you,
11:15.
Starbucks. From South Korea
Yeah.
was
I saw that
speaking,
ceremony, yeah.
and so was our Moon from here, and that they were taking questions. Well, what was interesting was, did you hear what the last question
No,
was asked
I saw
of the
the-
United States resident?
Oh no! I watched it because it was a wonderful ceremony.
Yes,
for,
it was very, very cool.
Randall
The-
Puckett, really wonderful thing.
The very last
tell me, man.
question asked, this person stands up and he goes,
Mr.
during the administration when you were vice president, Mr. President, the then President Obama was asked about UFOs. What comments do you have?
Oh, nice.
And he just sort of looked kind of surprised and went, "You'll have to ask Mr. Obama about that."
Oh,
And then he walked off stage.
that was
And I went, "Whoa, whatever's going on here is
it's interesting.
is getting more interesting." Yes.
wow. Well, let's click on this guy and see what
The
'cause I forget what-
UAP, which stands for Unidentified Aerial
Aerial.
Phenomenon, as
Well.
opposed to unidentified flying object.
Why did they have to
Which
change
means
it?
the exact same thing, folks. It's just like,
Well, the exciting. I mean, if exciting is the word, because in some ways I'm thinking to myself, is this some kind of a? I worry about people creating giant distractions because
Right.
when you start hearing everything from everybody, but we've been following the whole thing with, and they actually show a picture that is so damn old. I can't believe it.
oh, this one.
The Paul Trent photo from
Oh,
Oregon. This is
yes.
old photo.
Throw that frisbee.
Well, but even if it's not a frisbee, the thing is, we're looking at, and I think if you scroll down, we're probably
Oh, that's funny.
the biggest thing that's come from, and this is a long article again. We want you to read this,
Yes.
because there is stuff, and now this included the reason why I like this one. It has the entire 60 minutes interview transcript. And then some of this stuff really is shocking and amazing kind of stuff. I'm looking down
Wow,
here. It
this
says,
has got lots of good stuff in it.
well, in it, the biggest deal is the stuff that's coming from. It says interviews 60 minutes include retired Naval Commander David Fravor. And we all saw the one they called the Tic Tac.
Right.
But the big difference is, because one of the things Robert and I have talked about, we've discussed it. We'll be sitting down and we'll
40
be
feet long. See, that's just to have something that's 40 feet long, flying through the air, no wings, no exhaust.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, come on. I mean, that's just bizarre.
Well, there is definitely stuff happening, and one of the things that I think you and I have we've talked about, done the math on, using the equations. Well, if there are 20 million galaxies and one,
Yeah.
you get through that entire thing, and
You go, there's got to be some.
I'm going to
lots
say
of
the thing that
somebody's
you
out
have
there.
always pointed out. You said, "Hey, look, we have so many more iPhones, we have so many more, cameras. That why
Right.
aren't we getting?" But
really good images.
the first change that has come about, and this has been happening for quite a while, is that the really high tech equipment that you're going to find in an F-18 or an
Right.
F-22
is
or an
now
advanced
being
fighter.
used and released.
I mean, like, for example, I know that I did see a bit of one of the films that they were talking about. The guy had there was something below them, just like above the ocean, and the one pilot, gets a lock on it, and it's like it's tracking it as it's going really fast across the ocean. And the guy goes, "Wow, did you get?" He says, "Oh no, it was an automatic lock." It wasn't like he was able to
Right.
to move his cursor and then lock in on
Right.
it. It was an auto, and this kind of stuff is really amazing. We don't know what it's going to mean, but there's just an awful lot of
Well-
talk about getting a little bit further into it, even though not much new has come out since the naval films.
Right.
From
I'm sure that you've that you've seen the little links that I've sent you. I've been been talking back and forth with several of our good friends about this, and it essentially all boils down to this. There's supposed to be a release in June.
Yeah.
Of something, and so everyone's sort of sitting and waiting for that, And when I say that, it turns out that this is not from a UFO or a UAP investigator,
Yeah.
but this is from a formal group that's supposed to let people know exactly what's going on.
Well, and that's I'm just hopeful for some newer information.
I am too,
and we'll see.
And one of the things in the latest little trail of comments that I've made, I've said, we've been watching this for a long time. It would be nice to finally have somebody say, okay, it's either this or it's that.
Yeah, and to some degree, I
Let's
think
find out.
Part of what a lot of the people, that at least the little snippets I've seen, are saying are simply, we don't know what it is,
Right.
but this is what it's doing. It's not people making up stories.
Right.
These are not people that
It is real.
That's right. It's not like a TWA and 2 martinis and I'm looking out the window. These are they're talking about people that literally almost solve things daily, like some of these pilots that were in certain areas. And
Yeah,
so,
and when you're seeing things every day or every other day, and you're flying in the most advanced piece of equipment known,
Yeah.
and you're seeing it do things that your piece of equipment
we
can't do.
We need to, and to their credit, I will say the change. It's kind of a subtle thing, but the idea of calling it an unidentified aerial phenomenon,
Right.
as opposed to a flying object, is that they're looking at the possibility of it being something besides a physical object
Right.
that's flying. It
Right.
could be, some sort of a holographic projection. I mean, who knows what it could
Right.
be?
Something.
Well, yeah, it's not swamp.
No, it is not swamp gas
Who
or the
said that?
reflection of the planet Venus.
Get a big fly swatter and smack that person.
I'm not smacking her because she can smack back.
She is. You'll be getting a smack back for sure.
That's for sure.
Well, I'm going to click to this next one. E Ford.
You know what? I just want to say that I am actually wanting to go out and buy a actual truck just because of this. This is the coolest thing ever.
Well,
I think it's awesome.
Okay, we're going to talk about this in several contexts. First of all, I'm going to say I saw I think I was anyway. The point of Ford reveals a new electric F-150 Lightning, and I'm going to say smart. Call it the F-150 Lightning because it's just
like
like
that.
I got a cowboy there going, I used to have a horse named Lightning.
But now I got a truck named Lightning.
But it's beyond just the technology,
Yeah.
because this entire, I'm going to say, package of what they've done here, as someone pointed out, I'm going to say this surprised me. They were talking about the fact that the sales of the Ford F-150, the standard truck that we all know, amount to. They named several companies like the McDonald Corporation.
Right.
They went through a whole list of, and it said that just the sales of the F-150 for Ford are bigger.
A Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, they're bigger than that.
Bigger than Coca-Cola.
And I thought to myself,
Yeah,
wow.
I know. So then when I started looking at this, and you go, okay, so it's an electric truck, and because it's an electric truck, where does the engine go? Well, it turns out that it looks exactly like a truck, but where the engine is now what? A trunk.
Yeah, it's also mounted low. The battery.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, the biggest brilliant thing, I'll tell you what, before we go any further, let's see if yours will play, because this is
Okay.
President Biden drive. There's a little video down
in
there.
his little dark glasses.
Oh man, he's got
He's
his
so cute.
no, he's got his Ray-Bans. There's like pilot glasses.
All
Okay,
right, let's see.
so let's see what he says if we can catch that.
Oh, good. It's going to load an ad.
I hope it's an ad
That's
for
always-
the truck itself.
Now it should be if
It won't be. Mine says Kroger, Betty Crocker brownie mix 50% each with coupon.
Enterprise artificial intelligence has the power to transform the most complex organizations.
Wow.
Okay.
And the
Robot
world.
propaganda.
I'm going to take that off. Okay. It says that my ad will end in 18 seconds. So
Well,
I'll
anyway,
just-
I saw. Now I'm going to show you. After we watch this brief thing, we're going to jump to something that I think is almost as cool. In the 18 seconds while you're waiting, they had the engineer who's in charge of it, who happens to be.
isn't she cool?
She's brilliant, but
Yeah.
she pointed out the things that they're doing that is so smart. You take a technology, and she made the right points. It's just that it's better.
Yes.
Nobody cares about
Says
anything else.
President Biden just drove Ford's new F-150.
The future of the auto industry is electric. There's no turning back. Right now, China is leading in this race.
Nice reverb.
Make no bones about it. It's a fact.
No
And
bones
they
about
think
it.
They're going to win.
No, they're not.
But I got news for them.
Uh-oh.
They will not
Stand
win
up.
this race. We can't let them. We have to move fast. And that's what you're doing here.
Nice little
The
clip.
F-150 Lightning pickup truck. Yeah, that's a cool truck. And it's making a strong push for American-made electric
I'm not
vehicles.
letting a single contract to a single company that does not hire Americans, have all American parts, and has a supply chain that is an American product supply chain.
Cool. Push is part of Biden's $2 trillion infrastructure package, which includes $174 billion for electric vehicle adoption. Wow. Pickup truck is expected to appeal to mainstream Americans. Well, it certainly appeals to me. Companies like Tesla and GM also produce electric vehicle pickup trucks.
Yeah.
Ford pickups are among the company's best-selling vehicles. Yeah, we just talked about that.
All right. Let's
All right.
okay. Let's click out of that. Go back to the launch, the slaunch pad.
The slaunch pad.
All right. Now I want you
I'm
to
not
go.
sure what that means, but I like it.
I'm going to send you to tow truck.
Oh, send out the tow truck.
Yeah. So you had to shorten your battery, and I'm sending you to the tow truck. So when you get to this link,
right.
I don't care if it's a little bit long. I want you to watch it. Well, tell me when you get it started.
All right, tow truck. All right, I'm clicking on tow truck.
All right. So you,
Now, there we go. 10 double-decker freight cars,
nice.
42 F-150 trucks,
Okay. Now this is so. I'm going to say, even though I feel
1 million pounds,
Okay, now we're just going to watch this because this was done a while back.
1,000 feet.
Boy, the music is scary too.
It is.
What are they going to do?
Built Ford Tough presents
Okay, let's see what they say. Now this.
towing a million.
Okay,
So this thing's going to tow 1 million pounds.
Now you're going to watch this, and I think you're going to have fun with it. So
All right.
let's. Now,
How could we not have fun?
What's happening?
Hey, Jeff.
Brian, how are you?
Just a bunch of guys.
Hey, Dave. Hey,
think we're
hey,
doing
Paul.
it. I
Hey,
have
how's it
no
going?
idea.
Hey,
Let's
good.
Get this party started.
I'm a proud owner of an F-150. I can't see myself ever being in any other vehicle.
Look at these guys.
So much torque.
They are
just feel
true
like you're
Americans.
not pulling anything.
You might just say that's a dirty old truck, but if you know what you're looking at, you know it's a piece of art.
Life has been good with this truck.
I mean, I can take my wife out to dinner in this truck, and then the next day I'm out on a job site taking into some rough terrain.
If there's something cool involving a Ford truck, I kind of got to see that.
One of the best trucks for the last 40-some years.
They don't know
And you
what's
can't
going to
beat
happen.
that record
Robert.
with a stick.
They don't know.
It's ready to go.
Let's see
What's going to happen here?
All right, so okay,
Built
look at this.
tough. Okay,
Good
here
morning,
is
guys.
Hey, how are you?
Alinda
So
Zahn.
as you can see, we're here at the rail yards. What do you think we're going to do today?
We're going to eat
no
beef.
idea.
Mystery.
So we have a very special version of the F-150. And as you can see behind me, we've got 42 trucks representing 42 years of America's best-selling
Oh, that's
truck.
nice.
Also, they line up to over 1,000 feet in terms of distance. So we're going to be taking this prototype and we're going to be towing
so cool.
10 double-decker freight cars weighing over 1 million pounds
All 10?
for 1,000 feet. You guys
That's
think we can do
cool.
You seem confident, but I'll be shocked.
this? No other truck has ever done it, but we are going to do this.
Wow, you got to see it.
So you would have to have a truck that has a lot of torque.
I've got one major thing that I still haven't told you yet. You guys ready?
It's an all-electric prototype.
So this F-150 prototype is all electric.
Great music in
It
this.
is. This is well done.
This is awesome. Okay, I want one now. I really do.
Settle down. We have to finish the show.
Oh, darn. To the Ford dealer.
So look what they're doing. Oh, my.
So this is 10 train cars.
Yeah.
I'm hearing it move. Oh, the wheels are moving.
Dude, it's moving the train.
It's moving the train.
It's going. Yep, it's
moving. Yes.
You've got to be kidding me right now.
That is impressive.
That's
She's doing
unreal.
it so easy.
I can feel the weight of the train behind
Yeah,
us.
listen to the motor.
What motor?
Everything, and we are at like 4.5 miles per hour finishing.
Right.
Okay, so they're impressed, right? We're not
Yes.
done. We're not done yet.
Quietly pulling over 1,000,000 pounds.
We're almost at the finish line. I can see it.
Amazing.
Awesome. Okay, you can back off.
Now, here's the part that's really fun.
Okay.
Told you we got this. So if you guys thought that was impressive,
Yeah.
let's load the 42 trucks in and let's do it again.
No way.
That'll take us way over 1 million pounds.
All right.
Whoa, 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 whoa! I thought they were just going to do 1,000,000 pounds, and then they're going to put 42 pickup trucks,
They're loading.
which weigh a couple tons each.
There you go. Well, they're probably 4,000, or maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
2
All right.
tons. Call it 2 tons.
All right, so
Well, we can just.
so that's an extra if they're 2 tons each, 168,000 pounds.
Come on, baby.
So that's 1.168
It's doing it.
million
We're going.
pounds.
I can definitely feel the weight more with
You
the
think?
42 trucks in.
That is unbelievable.
Built more tough.
So now we're at 1.25 million
Oh,
pounds.
there it is. 1.25
Oh,
million.
okay, 1.25 million.
She had the number. She's an engineer, Robert.
She is an
She's a
engineer.
heck of an engineer. Wow.
Built Ford
1.2.
Tough is all about durability, capability, and productivity. And this all-electric F-150 extends Built Ford Tough
But
to a
there's
whole new
more,
arena.
Robert.
That's awesome.
All right.
That's awesome.
So that puts the weight of each pickup truck at 5,952
This prototype will help us deliver the
pounds.
all-electric
Okay.
F-150 in the coming years.
All right.
It was awesome. Felt
So
like
are
being
you
a
saying there's
superhero.
more?
So we got some
I think
speed
that might be
behind
the
us.
end.
Oh, okay.
We could feel the torque being applied, and it was a lot of fun.
Do you think I'm
Yeah.
built Ford tough?
I think you are built for it,
I
though.
appreciate that.
Oh, she is. All right, so okay, let's so jump back to
Wow.
as you mentioned when she was talking. I saw her being interviewed somewhere else.
Yes, yeah.
I'm going to tell you the thing that she focused on that makes absolute, it's music to the ears of people that have a pickup truck
Yeah.
because they actually
They
do work.
use stuff.
Well, the thing about this pickup truck is, she says, well, the nice thing is it's designed so that if you have a power outage, you can just back it up to your house and plug your house in.
For like 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically it's, the system that's in there, you can take it to, and she talked about, you can take this to a job site and you can light up, you can power and light up an entire construction site with your truck. The whole thing that they're doing
This
that is
is
so smart
awesome.
is that people that have trucks don't just have them because they want to pretend like they're a truck driver.
Right.
They
They
use
are
their
truck
trucks.
drivers,
They,
yes.
and they understand that the things they liked about the F-150 is that it was that combination vehicle. It was comfortable enough, and you could take your family, you could do this and do that. But the big deal was you took it to work with you, and so everybody who may or may not have had an opinion about, well, should we go to electric trucks or not, it's going to be the performance issues. When you saw that truck pulling those trains, now you and I being kind of sciencey kind of people, the idea that it was 1,000,000 pounds, however many pounds it was, if it was on a flat surface and then you could even get it moving, then it's a question of overcoming the inertia of the thing. Once it was even barely moving, then it's a question of, do you have enough low-end torque to make anything happen? The thing about electric cars,
turns out that they do.
well, the thing about electric cars that people have always understood, the first time anybody got into a Tesla, or when you saw President Biden punching the F-150 and going to 1 to 60 in 4 something seconds, the thing that people understand, I remember watching Jay Leno years ago testing out one of the first Teslas, is that the whole purpose of having electric motor cars, or cars with an electric motive force, is that you don't have to sit there and shift through transmissions and gears and stuff. You have, if you're going 1 mile per hour, you have all that as available torque. It's all there. So
Very
anyway,
cool.
this is going to be cool
very,
stuff.
very cool.
All right. Well, listen, Robert, I was a little disappointed in the Einstein auction
Oh yeah.
because I got in and I bid up. I bid up to maybe $500,000.
Did you?
No, I didn't. I was just pretending, but it didn't make any difference because I just have a. This is just a quick update. The next link says that the handwritten example of the Einstein equation actually, which they thought might get $400,000,
$400,000
went for
three times that.
1.2 million.
Yeah.
I'm just-
Good for Albert.
And I'm just going to point this out to you, Robert, because I know that you're a great student of synchronicity.
I am.
When I clicked this up, and after we just watched that last story where they were pulling about 1.2 million pounds. Look at the
$1.2 million.
What do you think? Synchronicity.
Oh wow!
hand-
a
Yeah. The mysterious hand of Einstein. I don't know. It's all relative, I'd say.
or it's maybe just a coincidence.
Well, okay, sure. Okay, I'll go with that.
All righty.
Isn't that cool, though?
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
All right. Well,
$1.2 million.
well, I'll tell you, we're going to bless. You know what?
What?
Because I watched the Biden, President Biden going to Detroit and talking to Ford and the
Yeah.
F-150 and then blah blah stuff he was doing, it actually made me feel kind of confident.
Yeah. Me
and,
too.
And you and I have often talked about as we look at science things and the advancements in energy and all that, just how. But I have been hearing such a pile of negative stuff, but mostly, Robert, about the coming inflation and how it's going to destroy the economy and how it's an argument for not doing anything because we're giving too much money to people and they're spending it. And you know what happens when they have money?
It makes them
It's creating
good.
Well, no, the claim is that because you put too much money, that you're causing inflation.
Oh, you're causing the
Now,
inflation.
I watched a person that I respect a great deal, who was bringing out some charts, and they were talking about, but the thing that kept jumping out at me in the back of my mind was, it was basically their definition of why we're having inflation was because of prices. It's like you can take a lot of things that may be a complex interrelated system, and I don't know. I'm just thinking of our local region where gas in the past month went from like $2.59, $2.69 to almost everywhere it's $2.99.
Right.
They're holding it right at the $3
Right
mark.
at the $3 mark. Yep.
And the point is that's a true thing. When I go to buy my gas, I can't say to these guys, this isn't really the true price of gas, and they go, well, that's what we're selling it for. But what I'm finding is that you have a feedback loop. It's almost like a feedback loop where you tell lots and lots of people that the election was rigged in 2020, and then you come around and say you're going to start doing things or creating policy because you're hearing from a lot of people that there's a feedback loop.
Yes, there's definitely a
some people
feedback
call
loop.
it an echo chamber or a
Yep.
feedback loop. Now, the interesting thing I'm finding, and we're going to go to the chart because this is actually inflation charts, right?
Yes.
And this is the current U.S. inflation rates. This is the U.S. inflation calculator. I mean, this is all, it's data points. And there's a lot of stuff here. I'm just kind of
All right.
scrolling down.
To the chart.
So if you scroll down to this chart,
And
United
the
States
chart's
annual
all
inflation,
the way to the right.
211 to 221.
Okay. It says in the United States was 4.2 for the 12 months ended after April 2021, after rising 2.6% previously, according to the U.S. Labor Department.
Anyway,
Okay,
a lot of complicated stuff there. But the first thing I'm going to say, I'm looking at the chart, United States annual inflation, and one of the things I'm going to look at is, okay, let's just say 219, then look at 220. Oh, Robert, you know what I've just figured out? The best way to curb inflation is to have a world pandemic.
Yeah.
Apparently, right?
Also, the way to get inflation, if you look in 2011, it was 3%, 2012, 1.7%, 2013, 1.5%, 2014, 0.8%, 2015, 0.7%. Something happened in 2016, and it suddenly jumped to 2.1%. Yeah. Now, what happened in 2016 to create
Well,
an
see,
inflation
and the
rate
thing is, some people may say
from 0.7 to 2.1.
See, some of it literally can be
interesting.
linked to prosperity sometimes.
Sure.
Now, the only thing I'm going to say is that in all of this data, I'm thinking there were a few things over here on the right. Oh, here it is. Look at U.S. inflation reports. Now, this is kind of like monthly CPI, blah, blah, blah. But if you look at the very first one, and if you read that, I'm going to pick a word out, and then we're going to talk about that. So can you see that?
Okay, now
Inflation
we're,
marks quickest. It's on the right-hand side of that. There's a chart further down. Oh, look, I'll just read it, and then I'll see if you can get the word that I want to talk about. Inflation marks quickest pace.
Oh, there, yes. I see it.
Since 2008, and here it is. Consumer prices surge in April. Okay, so here's what I'm going to talk about. Prices. In all of the data that we're working with here, when people create the idea that inflation is dire and it's terrible and it's happening and we have to cut back on the amount of rescue money and we have to take away $300 from people who, they're basing it entirely on prices.
Right.
Now here's
an interesting graph.
Well, and here's the thing. If it's based on prices, and I'm going to say that if, for example, you have as we had this situation with the colon pipeline that we talked about last week. So you can't argue that these prices are up. But the question is, why are
they
prices
up? Well,
up?
I see on the this says a 12-month CPI ended April 2021. Major categories increases or decreases shown in percentages. Inflation all items is 4.2%. Inflation for food 2.4%. That's reasonable. Inflation for energy 25.1%.
Okay, so
And then when you go over to the one on the far left where it says core inflation all items less food and energy, we're looking at 3%. That's not inflation.
No,
that's not runaway inflation. The only runaway inflation is the what?
yeah, price gouging.
Yeah.
Or energy. Yeah.
Energy.
Well, and so I don't want to spend too much time on this. I just want people to be thoughtful of the fact. I have seen and talked to people who just tell me, look, the price that was within this discussion the guy was having with his charts. Again, the point is it's all linked to prices.
Yes.
And I'm not going to argue that the prices are up.
And if you can create whatever price that you want,
then you can create.
Then you can do that.
Well, you can create an argument that there is inflation,
right?
Because and it can get very complex. But I'm going to go back to the colonial pipeline thing because what everybody said was there's people go, well, it's it's supply and demand. There was no supply loss.
No,
it was
there
delivery.
was nothing.
The same, and the other thing that's going on now is I have someone who was building a house and they were going to do it last year, but they built it this year, and the cost of lumber alone,
wood is through the roof.
Well, it raised the price of their fairly nice house, but like $40,000, and yet what they're
just for wood materials.
Oh yeah, especially plywood and stuff.
Yeah,
and the point of it is these prices are being. We're being subjected to these prices, but everybody has agreed, well, the real problem is there's lots of lumber, but it's in the warehouse and we haven't got enough truckers. These are all things that are not part of the real, like I'm saying, inflationary drive system. They are more like somebody might be holding stuff back. Somebody may be slowing stuff down.
Driving up the prices.
This whole colonial pipeline thing where there is actually no shortage. And the fact, again, I'm going to point out, I talked about West Virginia's prices. I was in Ohio just yesterday and looking for the cheapest gas because I did need to get gas. And everybody was $2.99, except there was one Exxon that was $2.85. And then if you paid cash, you got it for another 5 cents off. So that's, of course, where I got it. But the point is, West Virginia and Ohio are not subject to problems from the colonial pipeline.
Directly connected to the colonial.
But the
lines.
national message that we are in some kind of a giant gasoline shortage, which is reasonable for people when they look at kind of what they have on the news, is that it's a problem.
What a scam.
And then people are hoarding stuff too.
Yeah.
So
hoarding.
I just want to say that since
hoarding gasoline,
since you are such a math guy,
that is a pretty obvious thing that jumps out at you there.
Well, the fact that people basically, are creating an impression that there is inflation, and part of it is because of shortages, means that people will start hoarding, and means that prices will go up because there won't be enough lumber, there won't be enough gas. it's a hugely manipulative situation. And if you are basing all of your policies on prices, then you have to understand that it's possible the prices are artificially inflated.
No.
That there's price gouging, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's asking
that's
people to
just
think a
awful.
little further. But all right, let's go to Mars. What do you say?
Let's do it. Zhurong.
Zhurong is the name of, as we've said, we've
It's
been following
11:45.
Well, thank you,
Thank you,
Zarvox.
Zarvox.
We've been following the stuff that's happening on Mars. Like I said, I hope it isn't going to turn into one of those robotic battles to the end. But this is just a quick look at what's happening. The China Mars rover has landed.
Yep.
And when
Good
it's-
images.
And the thing is that I love the very first image that they have is where it has paused. It's landing on the red planet. It says the rover takes its first look at Mars, and what it's using is its obstacle avoidance camera. And it says here it is. It's looking, and it looks pretty good. So the point is that it will drive down the ramp
And go for it.
head for it. So there's a lot of other good information. Oh, there's a good video about the Tian 1 orbiter capturing a video of the lander and rover separating from the. There's a little
Cool.
video. There's all kinds of cool stuff here. A picture
Very
of itself.
nice.
It's like a little selfie taken by the rear navigation camera. So it's got avoidance cameras, navigation cameras. It's pretty sophisticated little setup here.
It's a beautiful little thing.
So this is we'll follow this. I don't want to dwell on it because again, Robert, I promised you that I put too many things up, and you know what?
I do appreciate
I
that.
am right. I'll tell you what. I'm going to jump. Oh, okay. The next thing is cool. Starforge is a great little visualization of giant gaseous cloud forming. It's really cool to watch. And since we're on the radio, I don't want people just to hear us enjoying it. I'm going to go to Solar Mine. You're
Solar
going
Mine.
Solar Mine. What kind of a thing is that? Well, you know where we are, Robert, in the great state of West Virginia.
Yes.
Now,
Wait. Are you saying that we can do solar power from West Virginia? I have been told to my face that we cannot do solar in West Virginia.
No. Well, you
it's
can
a coal state.
Well, for the most
it's
part-
a coal, oil, and a natural gas state. You cannot get the sun to shine here in West Virginia.
well, when you talk about putting it where the sun don't shine, I don't want to even go there. But
It says West Virginia Senate passes
State?
state wind and solar reclamation bonding program. Bonding programs.
Now, here's the thing I want to say to you. It is always interesting to me that there is there's good news and there's bad news, right? Now, my first glance, I'm going to say I was excited that this is kind of good news because I'm going to tell you what I'm hearing.
Okay,
Now,
what
I don't
are
know
you
if
hearing?
you probably have when you go down to down to where Libby's from in that part of the state, you see wind power, and there
Yes,
are some
we do.
stories about new
Everywhere.
solar farms.
Yep.
You're seeing that. Well, one of the big stories coming out of West Virginia is that there are, if you come back toward Route 33 and go to Elkins, you will start, even above Elkins, you see massive mountaintop removal
big flat areas, right?
and reclamation, right?
Yeah.
Well, some of the big stuff that's coming out, just here and there about solar is that there are people all over the country and maybe even around the world who understand that if the Biden administration does include all kinds of really, say, good incentives for solar farms and stuff, what you're
be
going
awesome.
to see is huge amounts of solar panels and stuff like that going up. Now, that's all good news, right?
That's great news.
Now, when you read this story, there were a couple of words up in this top that we're just going to touch on it briefly, and then let other people. They may listen to this, and there's a video, and they could read through it. But it says that they're passing state wind and solar reclamation.
bonding program.
Because I've read this,
Okay.
I'm going to say first off, this is exciting, but this is this West Virginia very Republican Senate has passed a thing that says if you, Robert Strong, have a strip mine somewhere in your neighborhood, which you probably do in that area, and you decide you're going to develop it as a solar farm, now, in doing that, you'd like to spend as much money as you could in just buying more solar panels.
Exactly.
This whole thing is a thing that's going to require you to look ahead to when your thing is done with, and now you have to reclaim it as your solar farm and back to normal. Okay.
Right. Usage or something.
So what it means is you have to put a huge bond up front before
I start.
Yeah.
So that it's going to keep me from
from starting. Okay.
It says, Senate Bill 492 would establish a minimum bond of $150,000 and exempt facilities with capacities less than 0.5 megawatts, meaning mom and pop style solar farms.
At least,
okay?
they'll be
meaning
excluded.
Smaller solar energy producers and those with solar panels on their roofs would be excluded from the reach of the bill.
So what they're saying is they didn't want so many people to go nuts that they'd say, wait a minute, because anybody putting any solar would have been, subject to this minimum of $150,000. So we have a good friend that put $40,000 worth of things on his barn, and it's a wonderful concept. And
it's a fabulous concept.
And in fact, if he had 10 other people, they were doing it, we'd start to get into lots of real good distributed energy. But those people would be so angry. There could be pitchforks and things. I don't know.
There should be pitchforks.
But we're talking about even a 1 megawatt. So if you're 0.51 megawatts, just a reasonably large thing, the kind of thing that you could do for a business or
sure.
Well,
essentially are going. It's going to cost you $150,000.
You're going to say, I know it was going to cost you $150,000 to put this in, but you know what you're going to need? An extra $150,000.
An extra $150,000. So supporters of Senate Bill 492 say its intent is to add a mechanism for the state to reclaim abandoned wind and solar facilities.
I'm sorry.
The same concept behind the state's coal, oil, and gas reclamation. Wait. but the solar panel people are not going to destroy the land and leave it for dead.
Details, Robert. Details. Anyway. My point is that it's like so many things.
These people need to be thumped.
Well, there are elections, and I hope people are smart enough to think about this. But the point of this story is, like I said, for me, it's to put out notice that these are the possibilities coming down the pipeline. But again, it's going to imply that people that have big pockets are going to be able to benefit from this.
Oh, well, they always do.
Well, they always do. But literally, to put something like this in, there's no question that to me, it's a roadblock thing.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
I even like the fact that they're saying, it's to make it equal with making you have to abandon your other stuff. And I'm thinking, all the people that just went bankrupt so they didn't have to.
And then they wandered off and went, okay, it is yours now.
It's yours.
Well,
now.
thank you.
Well, but this is a good news and bad news story, as many stories are. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Now, just because I did talk about that, I do want to. This next thing is about.
Wait. I'm just one more thing. It says
good.
The bill gives the department the power to assess an administrative penalty of up to $10,000 for failure to submit a decommissioning bond.
Oh, yeah.
And an additional penalty of up to $500 per day for each day a wind or solar facility fails to submit the bond afterward.
There you are.
So they have put rules in place to scare you into not doing this.
If this was about election law, I would call this voter suppression.
I would call it really bad. Yes, yeah.
Or if it was like an Ohm's law, it would be big resistance. That's a joke.
Ooh, that's a nice.
That's a science
joke. I like
that.
that. Big resistance. Okay.
Oh,
Speaking of big
all right, go
resistance,
to the next one.
West Virginia revolt.
Revolt.
The
thing that I love is this is a cool little story. It's a solar contractor helping. Now, so Nitro Power is a group. This is you have to kind of read through it to get the idea, but if you scroll down, it says during this next week's open house at Nitro Power.
Wow, look at all those solar panels.
Yeah, and it says they can walk through the site of a 487 kilowatt,
which is just below the half of a megawatt.
That's right.
This is 0.487 megawatts. Wow,
well, you could even, if you might even
sliding right under the.
If you wanted to, make it even, you could say 0.49. I'm saying you could say that. So, but the thing is, You're right. So they're actually they probably could have done more, but
They probably could have done more, but they were scared to.
Yeah, and so it goes. There's a profile. There's a bunch of good information here. So this idea of nitro, they have a subsidiary in this group, and they're calling it Revolt, which is, I think, a great
love
name
that.
because
love
it's
the
like
Revolt.
it's like you're looking at what are other ways to make electricity. So if you have in this case, this is on a structure. If you scroll down, there's a bunch of nice information. Here's this couple that's the solar panel project is operated under Nitro Construction Services has created this subsidiary, to do this, Revolt Energy.
That's awesome.
And so all I can tell you is these are shadows or little hints of good things that could
this
be
is
happening.
great. This is awesome.
And as much as people hate the idea that maybe, that Biden might make this profitable to do, and the fact that it's going to employ lots of people, it's going to be good. And then
Profitable and employ people?
Yeah.
Are you sure? It says the fact remains that every year solar gets cheaper. I love that phrase.
There you are.
Wait, does every year oil get cheaper? Does
no.
every year gas get cheaper?
Oh no, I don't think so.
Huh. But every year solar gets cheaper. I just want everyone to think about that for just a moment.
And I'm also going to say, as a parenthetical backward look, last year, I'm saying peanut butter is cheaper this year than it was last year.
Peanut butter and solar.
That's the way I look at it. Peanut butter is the price of peanut butter is my indication of actual inflation.
Yes.
And I'm saying.
I agree with you.
All right, so there's some other good stuff. There's a good thing about this. There's REAP, and you're going to find out that we just missed out. The Rural Energy for American program, this REAP thing, had a bunch of grants and things like that. Well, sadly,
March 31st.
yeah, sadly,
Gee, I wonder why we didn't hear about this.
I don't know, but there's going to be more of this coming down. This is this is within the state of West Virginia. The fact that they managed to establish this in West Virginia and they hadn't been run out over the past 4 years is a wonderful thing. Now, I'll tell you what, Robert, I'm looking at our time.
Okay, we've got about what, 3 minutes or so?
Well,
There's
there's a bunch of stories here. There's one that's great on a super high resolution electron microscope that's really cool. But I'm telling you what, let's jump over to. We were talking about politicians, so this thing about intestines makes me think of that. I don't know why.
I do.
Okay, so here's where this is a story that popped up, and I thought I have to at least figure out what this story is about, and does it have any real value, or is it just a weird story?
It says mammals can use their intestines to breathe.
Well, there you go.
Huh, that's like talking out of your...
Like having your head up. Well, okay. Now, let me just read this. Now, at first I thought, this is a goofy, weird story. Rodents and pigs share with certain aquatic organisms the ability to use their intestines for respiration. A new study finds. Now, everybody's going, okay, wait a minute, we got a few problems here.
Yeah, wait a minute.
The researchers demonstrated that the delivery of oxygen, and it's a gas, or,
sure.
this is cool, oxygenated liquid through the rectum provided vital rescue to two mammalian modes of respiratory failure. Now, this is really wild. Now, the only thing I'm going to tell you is I remember this story. This story that came out way back in the 1960s where they were talking about divers and stuff.
Yeah.
That they found out there are certain liquid floor, you may have heard, that you can highly oxygenate.
Right.
And once they got people used to the idea that they would drop into a vat of this
and
oxygen,
actually begin to breathe
they had to learn to slow, because it's a heavier, but they found out that it was just like Aquaman. You
Right.
could be, so I actually proposed to try to worked on a little, because I was looking at the fact that if you were incubating eggs, one of the big problems is you have to turn them and yada yada.
Right.
But if you could, the thing was, I was thinking that if you could
put
them in and
float them.
Well, that was the whole thing, and I designed this little.
I
but I
like
couldn't
that
get
idea.
fluoro liquids and all that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
right.
But the idea was that they can respire and they could be in a giant liquid vat and they could be rotated. And anyway, long story short, this sounded weird. This story first sounded weird because I'm going, okay, what kind of research did you do? Okay, well, so you took some rodents and pigs, you put them in respiratory distress, and then you forced oxygen and or oxygenated these very complex fluoridated There's an actual name for the class of these liquids, the systems.
Sorry, that's not what I was trying
That's
to do.
okay. Now, anyway, but long story short, the thing that is really cool about this is, and if you scroll to the very end, what they have found out is that for people that maybe have complete lung damage, destroyed lungs,
This is amazing.
you can actually have somebody
breathe through their intestines.
it would be a system where you would be, if you would just have a system of liquid, the liquid oxygenated system flowing through their intestinal, that it absorbs enough to keep people
Alive
or rescue them.
if their lungs can't take in the
Here it is.
oxygen
The
that
level
they
of
need.
our arterial oxygenation provided by this system is scaled to human applications, likely sufficient to treat patients with severe respiratory failure, potentially life-saving oxygenation.
like COVID-19.
It's 12 o'clock.
All right, I got 5 seconds to welcome
All right.
you guys back next week. Please come.